How are you?
Fine. Preparing for the release of a new record, The Human Contradiction, on Napalm Records, beginning of April, so exciting times.
Well, in previous talks with you, in the previous talk we had, we discussed the previous record, Interlude, as a kind of an in-between album, in order to get a fresh start for the upcoming record.
Yeah.
So, was it like this?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Interlude was really both fun and also just very functional for us as a band, because we both got to publish some songs of which we weren't sure if they were ever going to get a place on a record, but that we did really like. So it gave us the chance to give those songs a record of their own, and at the same time it gave us a completely clean sheet to start with a new record, and also, you know, basically buy us some time, because the record before that, We Are The Others, it took a long time for us to release that. So we thought we kind of, you know, get the productivity up, and by now we had 3 releases in 3 years. So I guess that's much better than the long wait that we had before.
Oh, so why this increase in productivity then?
Well, it's several things. Like I said, it took us a long time to release We Are The Others. And basically, it's always more fun to go on tour with new material. It is also just good for us, of course, to release new material, to be able to play new material, to be able to sell new material. So it's kind of a win-win situation. And we got a fresh start for the record that we're about to release now.
What was the mentality going into the writing of the record then?
We basically wanted to do everything ourselves. Also a bit in response to the kind of production that we had with We Are The Others, because back then a lot of people were involved, and a lot of that was really good. Like, for example, the production trio that we worked with, we learned so much from them, and you know, we still quote a lot of things from the production that we had back then in Sweden. But back then we were also working with 3 different labels, and we had a lot of different people with a lot of different opinions kind of involved in that whole process. And while we are, as a band, kind of stubborn enough not to let anybody steer us away from what we really want to do, back then we really felt like a lot of energy which could have gone into the creative process went to, you know, politics instead. So by now we really wanted to write the songs and only involve third parties when we really had to. And so Martijn was also back in the producer chair with our first 2 records, and I think it worked out well. It caused this kind of creatively free atmosphere.
In terms of the writing then, how did this manifest itself when you started writing? Maybe the first song, if you remember the first song that you started on? Yeah,
it must have been my Masquerade, because this is the first one that we finished, and also the only one that we have played live up to date, so at the gig, which was called My Masquerade back in November. We basically sat down with what we like to call the Delain songwriting team, which is Martijn, myself, and Guus Eikens, who is external from the band, but actually he's been also involved in the writing process ever from Delain's very beginning. So for us, he kind of feels like a 6th band member. And we just sit down, the 3 of us, and you know, we either start from scratch or one of us has an idea and we continue from that. But by now we've been writing together for such a long time that basically if we sit down in the studio, we can be 9 out of 10 times sure that we're going to find something which we think is really cool. So.
And then, if I understand correctly, usually it's thematically about something that either you as a band have experienced or something that happens around you. Was it the case again this time?
Well, actually, in this record, a lot of lyrics were written quite late in the process. Like, we usually, with the 3 of us, we usually finish the songs until we think, okay, now we have the basic structure. You know, the song is kind of as long as it should be. We kind of have all the ingredients. We have the, you know, the main lines and melodies. riffs, and then Martijn starts working on the arrangement, and I start working on the lyrics. And as for the lyrics, it is again, yeah, this is something that I actually always said, like, it either has to be something that, you know, happened to me, or something that's really close to me, something that I've kind of been puzzling about. Yeah, which doesn't have to necessarily directly affect me, but at least, yeah, something that, yeah, that I've been obsessing over. So yeah.
And what was it this time?
This time, well, actually, there is still. Back on We Are the Others, we kind of introduced the topic of otherness for the very first time, and this is actually something that returns again and again also on this record, but kind of from different angles. And I chose the title, The Human Contradiction, which is the title of the new record, because I thought that it was a really nice overarching concept to kind of tie all those songs of otherness together, because The Human Contradiction, as a title, I got it from a book, an extremely cool work of fiction by Octavia E. Butler, which is called Lilith's Brood. And in that book, this contradiction is explained as the fact that we as humans are both intelligent and hierarchic. And the latter is the problem, because this kind of hierarchic attitudes that makes us rank one higher than the other or lower than the other, you know, whether it's between humans or between humans and non-human nature. And it makes us kind of pick random qualities in each other in order to justify this ranking on this totally constructed social ladder. And I think that this is really interesting, because this is exactly the type of structure which allows for systems of oppression such as racism and sexism and even speciesism to exist. Mm. So yeah, there's a lot of songs which are about themes like that, like Army of Dolls is really a lot about objectification. Song Your Body Is A Battleground is about basically the industry that makes money from telling people that their bodies are not good enough. And there's also songs which are really about non-human nature, about animals, about resources. And yeah, so I thought that this title, The Human Contradiction, really tied it all together really nicely as a metaphor to kind of signify where that comes from. And so I shamelessly stole it from the book.
You talk about this hierarchical structure. How have you experienced this yourself? Because as you say, it's in the extension of what We Are the Others was about, yeah, in terms of subcultures and being different from people, from the status quo, so to say. Yeah, well, I have experienced it myself in small ways, and this kind of triggered for me the fact that I wanted to study it and learn more about it. And I've also really been engaged with the topic academically, as I just finished my master in gender studies, where you kind of basically, you know, it was a wonderful experience, the studies, but you also kind of get confronted with everything that sucks in the world. And you know, once you engage with that on such a level, it's kind of bound to stay in your head. And yeah, like that, this was not just a topic where on our previous record we thought, okay, rewrite a song about it and then get it out of our system, because I don't think that it's a topic that I will ever be done with. It's not like looking for closure. It's more like looking for ways to engage, to engage with it.